My name is Bill Futornik. I am the Ritual Director of Congregation Beth Jacob in Redwood City, California. And I brought a group of teenagers mostly, and actually a group last week as well, to Long Island to work with Nechama, which is the Jewish response to disaster. And we're here to rebuild houses. And we're here to help those who were affected by Hurricane Sandy. And we're here to really volunteer and give our time to improve the world, honestly. Right after the tornado hit in Oklahoma and more, I was reading some articles, and one of the relief workers said, it's not like anything you've ever seen, and you have to be here to understand what's going on. And one of the things we as a Jewish community are good at, and I'm one of the leaders of my congregation. I'm the clergy partner to Rabbi Ezra at Congregation Beth Jacob. One of the things we're really good at is sending out emails and asking for donations, and our congregation and our community is very generous to help those in need. But what we don't do so much is when we respond to these disasters, actually to respond to the disaster, to come in person. And we do a lot of local work with homeless shelters and with Second Harvest and such, but we haven't really responded to disasters. So we thought, why don't we see if there's a way to actually get on the ground? Some of our congregants have been to New Orleans and Mississippi after Katrina and had incredible experiences. Said, we'd like our congregants to have the same thing. We'd especially like our teenagers to have that because we want to instill in them a spirit of volunteerism and to really find the empathy when they come to a house and see what it's like. So I did some research. With the internet, you can really find anything now. And I discovered there's only really one one organization, Jewish organization, that was a disaster relief organization. That's Nechama. And I contacted them, and they were very quick to get back to me, and they just seemed incredibly well organized around this effort. And they said, well, as far as Oklahoma goes, we don't know how much longer we'll be there, but the Sandy rebuilding is going on for another year, which was very surprising to me because, the hurricane hits in October, and for a year and a half, they're going to have to rebuild. The minute it leaves the newspaper, it seems to leave our consciousness. So, we looked at kind of what is it that we want to be doing. We want to be helping people, and when they fall out of the news, maybe even more so. And so I contacted Nechama. We talked about how we get a group here. I think it was kind of attractive for some of our teens to come to New York, honestly, and get a taste of the city and see something a little bit different. And so that's how we wound up here. That's how I wound up in East Rockaway. And I've had the privilege of being in 4 or 5 different homes now over the last 2 weeks in various stages of painting and sanding and mudding and drywalling and insulating and all sorts of things that you do, which I am now learning skills, and now I am, I think, much better qualified to paint my children's rooms. From my perspective as somebody who's in the Jewish community and someone who teaches and someone who, especially young people, but I teach all ages, our Jewish values, and really they're honestly universal values, are about helping each other when we're in need. And I know that Ross had said it's amazing when you see people, it kind of restores your faith in humanity when people help each other. I think when you actually get your hands dirty, and painted, it creates a different dynamic from just writing a check. By the way, I'm not saying don't write the check. I wrote the check too. But when you get on the ground and you actually get dirty doing something, you feel like you have a stake in it. And I think it really transforms you. Sometimes it's hard to describe until you actually do it, because it's like the absence of a negative. But once you get on the ground and do it, you kind of see, that was a pretty transforming experience. And I know that the group I had last week felt pretty transformed by the experience. In this group, we've been having little debriefs at night, and the teens are saying, how incredibly grateful they feel. And if nothing else, it'll make you feel very grateful for the life that you have.
I'm Dahlia Jude, and we're in Massapequa, New York, rebuilding homes after Hurricane Sandy. I decided to come here because I figured to make good of my summer, of my free time, and volunteer with something that I was passionate about and help with what I could.
I came here just to because my relative's house burned down in a fire locally, and I knew what devastation came to them, and I wanted to help people like them during my summer. I'm from San Francisco, California, and we're working with Nechama.
I think the best part of the volunteer experience is seeing the progress we've made on the houses just over a couple of days and seeing how happy the people who live here are with the work we're doing.
Even if you don't have any experience like building homes, or like you've never done anything like this, to like come in here and make such a difference, or at least make a little bit of a difference, is like means a lot to me, that I can like learn and kind of just help someone out in any way that I can by being here and doing just my part, I guess. We're here for 5 days.
I would say it's worth it. It's worth the unpleasant weather and the hard work you do all day, because at the end of the day you feel like you're really making a difference, and that's more than you would make by not doing it. So you feel not only good about yourself, but you feel good about the work you're doing and the people you're helping. So I would just say it's a great experience and I recommend it.
My name is Sasha, and I'm here. I'm coming from Las Vegas, Nevada, and for half my life I was in prison, and I just feel like I'm spending the second half of my life fixing what I did in the first, and it's just a really wonderful thing, working with these people, and just the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I found it, I just Googled it, and I wanted to help out with Sandy. This is the second time I've been here, and it's too bad that the news right now just kind of doesn't show anything about all the people in need right now, and it's just really nice being able to help out people that are in need. I've been doing basically it's really easy stuff. I mean, sanding and painting so far, because I've only been here 2 days now, so it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of cool work, and you kind of get to learn things about how a house is put up, and it's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun, and you're around some of the nicest people. Volunteering, I would say, is the absolute most rewarding thing I've ever done, and it's just so nice being able to help people in need, and I'd recommend it to anybody and their kids, to bring your kids out here, and I mean, it's just a great experience, really great experience.
My name is Ross Topol, and I work for Nechama Jewish Response to Disaster as a team leader out here in Long Island, helping homeowners put walls back into their houses after Hurricane Sandy has come and washed away all their possessions. It's been contaminated, and all the houses have been had to get gutted out, and mold suppression, and now we're coming in and we're rebuilding the homes. We've been out here since the storm, and we've been gutting out homes, and now we're finally coming back to put all the walls back in them. I was working remotely for the organization from Chicago, helping them do some media and web related stuff for the organization. When Hurricane Sandy hit, and I knew I was going to have to come out here. So I got the call, and immediately we drove several of our trucks and trailers out here to Long Island and New Jersey, and to help as how we could with the relief efforts. And we immediately started gutting out people's homes, helping them with trees that were lying on their houses, and doing anything we could to help the local community as they're starting to get their feet back underneath them. Nechama is a disaster relief nonprofit, and it's based out of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. We primarily will respond to hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods, and we'll drive out there with our trucks and trailers, which are pretty much like a Home Depot on wheels. They have everything we need, to generators and chainsaws and pumps and pretty much any tool we'd ever need to help out. So we immediately get to a disaster if there's a strong enough need for us to come there, and we'll deploy, and all we need are volunteers at that point because we brought all the tools. So it was really amazing when we came out here to the tri-state area, because there were so many people just wandering the streets that wanted to help out, and they would just walk up and say, hey, can I help? And we'd have them sign a volunteer waiver, and they would immediately be able to help out their community and give back, which was really inspiring for me to see a lot of the community coming together after the storm. It's been about 11 months since Hurricane Sandy first hit land and devastated much of Long Island and the tri-state area. When we first came out, we were gutting out homes, And since then, much of that work has been done. So we've kind of moved on to being able to go back and begin the slower process of putting the drywall back into those homes and putting walls back into them and painting them so that the homeowner can finally move back into their home, as many of them have been displaced ever since the storm. What motivates me the most in doing this type of work is seeing people in need. I've been to, I think, about 8 disasters at this point, and just seeing how devastated these people are, especially when you're coming out for something like this, where their possessions are still in the home, but they're essentially destroyed, but they're still there. It's not like a tornado where they're just gone, they're strewn away. They're still there, but they're ruined from the water that has oil and sewage and everything in it. And you really can't keep a lot of those things. Some things will never be clean again. And seeing these people, and so many of them just don't know what to do. For me, it's really rewarding to be able to come in and show them exactly, this you can keep and this has to go, and this is what we're gonna do to get you to start moving forward, because a lot of people need to know those first steps right after the storm. So for people coming out to volunteer, I think it's a very rewarding process. You get to meet the homeowners, but also you get to meet other people that are doing the same thing as you for the right reasons. For me, it really helps to restore my faith in humanity when I'm coming out and doing this type of work, and there's tons of other people that come out and they want to do it alongside me just because they think it's right. A lot of times, in the wake of a disaster, it's very upsetting, and it's just inspirational for me to see this come out of it and everybody kind of coming together regardless of their faith or background, just everybody coming together for the same reason, to just help people out.